Greetings, students. So I wanted to go over IV dosage calculations. As we discussed in class, there are two formulas for IV dosage calculations. We have the drop factor formula, which is milliliters to be infused divided by minutes times the drop factor, drops per milliliter. And then we also have milliliters to be infused divided by hours. Okay, so these are the two formulas that we're going to be working with. Okay, so I'm going to put a few problems on the board. So if you can write down these two formulas and we'll go through these problems. Okay. All right, so let's start with the first one. First problem is 1,000 milliliters of D5 Ringer's lactate to infuse in 8 hours. The drop factor, you know it's a problem with a drop factor because it gives you the drop factor. The drop factor is 20 GTT per milliliter. Okay, so this is the problem. So now we're going to solve it. Okay, so we know we have a drop factor. So remember, this is the drop factor formula. So the setup is this, it's 1,000. These are the milliliters to be infused, divided by minutes is the formula, but this is in hours. So that means that we have to convert these hours to minutes to fit the formula. So to convert hours to minutes, we multiply by 60 because there's 60 minutes in an hour, and that gives us 480. All right, so now we have 1,000 milliliters to be infused divided by 480 minutes times the drop factor, which is 20. Okay, and the answer comes out to 41.6. But remember with IVs, they're always rounded to the whole number. Okay, so it's 42 GTT per minute. Okay. All right, let's go for another one. Okay. This one is 2,500 milliliters of D5 NS to infuse in 24 hours. Drop factor, I'm just going to write DF for drop factor, okay? The drop factor is 10 GTT per minute, okay? So the drop factor is 10. All right, so what's the setup? Is milliliters to be infused divided by minutes. So we have to convert these 24 hours into minutes by multiplying by 60. We take the 24, we divide it by 60, and we come up with 1440. 1440 minutes. So 2,500 divided by 1440 minutes times the drop factor, which is 10. And we come out with 17.3. We round it to the nearest whole number. 17 GTT per minute. Okay. All right, let's try another one. Okay, we'll do several of the drop factors, and then we'll do the milliliters per hour. Okay. All right, let's go with this one. 500 milliliters of D5W to infuse in 4 hours. The drop factor is 15 GTT per milliliter. Okay, so we know our setup, milliliters to be infused is 500 divided by minutes. We have to convert these hours to minutes. So we multiply the 4 by 60, and we come out with 240 minutes times the drop factor, which is 15, and the answer comes out to 31.2. We round it to the nearest whole, 31 GTT per minute. All righty, let's do one more of these, and then we'll do some of the other formula, okay? All right, let's see, let's go with this one. 500 milliliters, D5, half saline, normal saline, over 12 hours. The drop factor is 20. Now, we've done several of these, so you should already know what to do, right? The setup, we have a drop factor, so we know what formula we're going to use, 500. We have to convert the hours, the 12 hours to minutes. So we take the 12, we multiply it by 60. So we have to convert it to minutes, and we come out with 720 minutes times the drop factor, which is 20, right? And the answer comes out to 13.8, rounded to the nearest whole number, 14 drops per minute. Okay, now let's try a few other problems using the other formula. I hope everyone is understanding this one. Okay, so let's try the other formula. All right, so let's go with this one. Let's see. 2 liters of D5W. 2 is to infuse. It's to infuse in 16 hours. How many milliliters will you give? Let's see, sorry, milliliters per hour will you give? Sorry. Okay. So we know that the setup is milliliters to be infused divided by hours, right? That's milliliters per hour. So here we have to convert the liters to milliliters, right? So we do that by multiplying by 1,000, and we come up with 2,000 milliliters divided by 16 hours. We don't have to do any converting with that, with the hour. So that's 2,000 divided by 16, and that gives us 125 milliliters per hour. 125 milliliters per hour. Okay. All right. So remember, if liters is what you have to infuse, you must always convert it to milliliters. Okay. All right. Let's do a couple more of these. All right. 500 milliliters of Ringer's lactate to infuse in 4 hours. Okay, how many milliliters per hour, okay, will you administer? Okay, how many milliliters per hour? So this is pretty standard, right? It's 500 divided by 4 hours, right? Very simple. That's 125 milliliters per hour. Easy, 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 right? Very easy. Okay, so if this was in minutes, let's say this particular one was in minutes, right? Then you would have to convert these minutes to hours, okay? And then you do your division, okay? Just be prepared for that. As long as you know the formulas, you should do fine, okay? Let's try one more. Let's do one more. 200 milliliters of normal saline to infuse in 2 hours, right? Easy. Maybe it's a little too easy. How many milliliters per hour? Well, you know, what you think might be easy for someone may not be easy for the next person, right? So the setup is 200 divided by 2 hours, right? And it's 100 milliliters per hour is the answer for this one. All right, folks. So I hope that helped you with IVs. I will add more IV problems to the channel. Okay. All right. Thank you.